So I'm going to tell you 5 things that you should know if you want to paint a watercolor flower with natural strokes. Because there are many things you can do wrong and maybe you don't even notice those things. So that's why I'm going to show you. Let's start to practice and paint that flower. So these tips are very simple things, but they make a huge impact to your paintings. So number 1 is to choose the right paper. In this video we use cold pressed watercolor paper. And this flower we paint is between realistic and loose style. So this paper is very good for that style. If you want to paint very loose styles, more easier and quicker way, then hot pressed paper, watercolor paper, would be the choice for you because it's smooth paper. Cold pressed is great for flowers that you need to work more with. Because it's rough, you don't have to hurry too much because it won't dry that quick. Second tip is the right ratio. So you saw there that I mixed red and brown color together and I used pretty same amount of them for that mix. Mix a good amount of water on that color mix. When it comes to watercolors, you start from the lightest shade and then go more darker shades. That first petal had a pretty good ratio of water and color, but it turned out a bit muddy, so don't afraid to add more water. There are ways to take excess water off if you add it too much. And here you saw that second petal, what happens if you don't have enough of water. It's super muddy now. Third one was way better. You see here how I took water off that, so dry your brush and then take water off. Pick up that slowly to avoid mess. Remember to use this paper towel to have the place where you put that watercolor. And now we are going to mix that color and water together. So here comes the third tip. Hold your brush like this, you see, from the middle. Painting this petal is probably not so smooth if you hold your brush like a pencil, so hold it from the middle. Paint a few strokes together and also they don't start from the same point, so that way they will look more natural. Also some little touch-ups here and there when it's still wet, so that way I'm avoiding lines when I'm doing that before it's dry. I just picked up some watercolor off from it so it won't be soaked. Now, that was a bit different way to paint the petal. This second one is the easiest way to paint it, I think. I will demonstrate how to do it by this drawing. They actually look like petals too. I try to draw that first one too. So that first one was like more from down to up, and that second one is like painting those smooth ups and downs, and I won't be taking off that brush between those strokes. Or at least when I paint like 3 strokes, then I won't take the brush away. But if I add some lines, then I'm of course taking that brush off. Fourth tip is that for this flower style, use sharp brush. This one is synthetic, so it makes so much easier for you to paint this style of flower. For more loose styles, you could use brushes that bend more and also have bigger belly for holding more color. For this middle part, use yellow color and also another cup of water so you won't get red color on that yellow color. So paint a circle and start to fill that color in. And I also took some watercolor off from this one too. And now add brown dots. Don't use water much if you want to avoid soaking your flower. So yeah, tap, tap and tap with the tip of the brush. And then dry that brush so it will only be damp. then smooth out that color. We are going to paint brown dots soon again when it's completely dry. And now we are going to draw petals with these dots and using this pencil. This way you can figure out where you should put next petals. I'm going to paint petals that are a little bit on those other petals. There won't be any space between those petals. And you can test out if you got right ratio of water and color next to this painting or on another paper. Remember to wait that petal to dry before painting another petal on top of it. Otherwise you will get lines or muddy painting. Then when you paint that petal, you just go up and down and smoothing out those edges too when it's still wet. Remember that it must be still wet. Fifth tip is to stop on the right time. There you saw that I painted that petal with a couple of strokes and some touch-ups. Then it's the time to stop painting. No need to paint more. When the petal is dry, you can add that middle part. And yeah, remember the technique where you are going to paint up and down those little petals, kinda. And now you saw that I draw those other petals. So sketching is something that can help you a lot when you are painting. And now we are going to add those round dots. Again, don't use water a lot. Color that you use now should be pretty pigmented. You can practice those dots before you actually paint them on that flower, on that actual flower. So yeah, tap those dots on those brown areas. So you see it's pretty dark shade of brown. And now, when we are done with that middle part, it's time to paint two petals, those last petals. Remember to wait that is dry before painting on that petal. And always remember to practice too. You can try to paint different shapes of petals by this same technique. Here I am practicing those petals, and it's always a good idea to practice before you are going to paint the actual painting. That way you can see what is the right amount of water and color, and you will also train your muscle memory, so you will be better with your brush, holding your brush, and you will be better at using your brush. And you can actually move your paper, so it will be easier to paint those petals. Now you can practice these tiny strokes that you can paint to get that finished looking flower. It's okay if you don't even touch the paper first when you paint veins. That way you don't have too thick veins. If you think these veins are too dark, you can tap on that color when it's still wet, so it will get a bit lighter shade. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope this was helpful, and we will see in my next video. Bye bye!